अथ समाधिपादः अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपे अवस्थानम्.
So this topic today is about yoga, and for some people that want to start doing yoga. So it's like, well, who the hell are you to talk about yoga and what it is? I've been studying yoga for a long time. When did I start? 97. Okay. I can't do a lot of things now because of injuries, but I did study yoga. I got teacher training certification with Dharma Mitra. I went to integral yoga. So I studied Iyengar yoga for the first handful of years first. So I got to try stuff. I did Ashtanga yoga back in the days. So what I'm sharing here is actually from experience and somebody who is a certified yoga instructor, personal trainer, and many other things. Okay, so I'm sharing some stuff about yoga that might help you figure out what's best for you so you can get the most out of it and not hurt yourself. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that somebody brought up to me today, somebody who I met buying a bass guitar from Thompson, and he was just like, oh, I really wanted to get into yoga. So he's like, what's the difference with anything like that? So years ago, I wrote an article that was published, and it was a counter argument to somebody who wrote something for New York Times saying that yoga's, dangerous, whatever. So, the thing that yoga means union, to unite, to yoke. This is the meaning of the word. And the physical practice that everybody does in America is called Hatha yoga, okay? So Hatha yoga is the only form that everybody does. Of course, there's other styles, but as long as you're doing physical postures and breathing, which they'll call pranayama, this is considered Hatha yoga. If you do Iyengar yoga, Bikram yoga, Ashtanga yoga, integral yoga, bamboo moves yoga, whatever it's called, it's all Hatha yoga. And here's the main difference. You have certain types of yoga in America that has become very aggressive, right? So yoga is supposed to be about calming the nervous system and doing something that's good for your body, doing a lot of different movements that you don't normally do in real life. That's good for your muscles, it's good for your bones, and it's mostly good for your fascia. Your fascia is the connective tissue that encases your muscles. Usually this is what gets tight and brittle with people. So when you're moving in a way, doing the poses in the Hatha yoga, this helps create pliability within your body that's really good for your body. And there's a lot of different styles of yoga, right? So depending on what your goals are, you should check out a school and the style, and then from there, figure out what's good for you. If you're older, if you have injuries, or if you're just trying to do something simple because you're not flexible, right? Yoga will get you flexible, but that's not your goal, to be a pretzel and a contortionist. You could do not hot yoga, definitely not that. You could do gentle yoga. You could do chair yoga if you're older, if you have injuries. You could do a level 1, a beginner's class. Try something like that first and see what that style is like. There's 2 types of yoga. Most of them are vinyasa style, which is doing sun salutations and moving and then going into a pose, doing some type of sun salutation and another pose when you're standing, right? And this is very common in a lot of the schools. And then you have another mode, which is Iyengar, which is not a vinyasa yoga. You're not flowing and moving. You'll do one pose, do one side, do the other side, stand together, and do the next pose. Usually you start with standing, and then you work your way to sitting on the ground. And the reason why you start with standing, because you need more strength with that. It creates more body heat, raises your temperature, helps build a little bit of strength, and it creates stability, because you don't want to create flexibility that's laxed. You don't want to if you create a lot of flexibility where there's no strength involved, you could create hypermobility, and that's bad for your joints. Okay, so a blend is very good. So with a younger yoga and Sri K. Patabi Joyce came from the same teacher, okay, Krishnamacharya. So with Ashtanga yoga, it was very physically demanding. This is where the Vinyasa yoga pretty much started, especially that concept coming from India to the West. Iyengar realized as a child he was very sick, where he wouldn't be able to do that right away. And as an adult, that would have been even more difficult, where he felt like now yoga has a lot of healing and health benefits, where if you can't do the Vinyasa yoga, now you just can't do yoga. So he came up with his own method, which they call the Iyengar yoga, where it's not a vinyasa, it's one pose at a time, and it's sequenced in a way that's beneficial to the person. And the one thing with yoga, in India, just like in China, they have herbal medicine, right? Qigong, they have Tai Chi. All this stuff is supposed to be for health and for your body. So originally with yoga in India, to become a yoga instructor, you didn't take a 24-hour class online or anything like that. You had to practice from a teacher who you called your guru. And from there, you would give prescriptions to people on what yoga poses, what kind of breathing they should do, an Ayurvedic diet, right, to help with their health. Same thing with Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbs, all that. So in India, they would prescribe yoga and pranayama, which is breathing exercises, right? So this is how the person started to teach back then. Here, it's not like that at all. Here, it's become Circus du Soleil, and people full of ego, where it's like, look what I could do. Look what I could do. I could put both legs behind my head. It's like, okay, that's not yoga. And the thing is, some poses are actually very dangerous for you, because everybody has different joint structures when it comes to this amount of skin, the elasticity, the tightness around it, the joint capsule, what's in the joint, how much space you have between the joints, the connective tissue, if it's long, if it's short, if it's pliable. Everybody's completely different. So now if you have somebody who's super freakishly flexible, and you're thinking, oh, to get enlightened, I have to be like this person, and you don't move that way, you're going to force yourself to try to get to that point, because not everybody can, where you're going to create injuries. So the reason why I made this video is pretty much because of somebody bringing up yoga, and I told them, depends what your goals are. If you're athletic and you want to do something athletic and difficult, go for Ashtanga yoga. Go for power yoga. That's an American term. Do a Vinyasa yoga. I go, if you're trying to do stuff to just keep yourself healthy and maintain your flexibility, but not push yourself to do any type of really challenging, crazy stuff that could be potentially dangerous, I go do a younger yoga, do gentle yoga, try chair yoga, try something where you're just doing certain poses. There's also something, it started from Kung Fu and was from Paulie Zink, who was a master in monkey style Kung Fu, which is called Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is really a martial arts based stretching system. It's changed a little bit over time because of people integrating Hatha yoga into there. And he said, if I call it, Kung Fu stretching, not everybody's gonna want to do it. Oh, yoga's a hot topic. Oh, Yin Yoga. And then you had other people take it to another level with other things. But that was long static stretches, and that's what you did in martial arts to get really flexible. Of course, you need dynamic flexibility, but in that style of Kung Fu, flexibility is a main component. Okay, so you have Yin Yoga also. That you're holding a lot of static stretches for up to sometimes 5 minutes, and it'd be very difficult for some people to hold something that long. And you're sitting on the ground, but still, if you're not flexible, it's tough. And when you start stretching and you're not naturally flexible, it's not fun. A lot of people go towards what they like. If you're naturally strong, you'll go into powerlifting, bodybuilding, something of that nature, right? Sprinting, track and field, throwing the shot put. If you're naturally have good endurance, you might go into swimming events, triathlons, marathons, running events, cycling events, because you're naturally good at that. The same thing happens with yoga. People that get good at it quick are people who are naturally flexible. But those people usually need other things. They need to work on strength, cardiovascular exercise, and this is important. People who are not flexible, those are the ones who need yoga the most, especially if you want to maintain your body when it comes to just healthy, normal flexibility. So if you're looking for a school, check it out. Ask what kind of school it is. If it's hardcore yoga where you're doing vinyasa and all these really difficult stuff, or it's more of a gentle type of thing. And pick what's best for you, because that's what yoga is about. It's about doing what's good for you to help you be the best version of yourself. And the thing with yoga, the reason why the Hatha yoga is what it is they feel like you can't concentrate on meditation or spiritual things when your body's a problem that you're always focused on because it's hurting all the time. All right, so I hope this helped. If you have any questions, maybe I'll make another video on one of those questions. Thank you so much for coming by, and have a happy holidays.
Madhipadaha atha yoganushasanam yogaschitta vritti nirodhaha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam vritti sarupyamitaratra vrittayah panchatayah klishtaha pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smritayaha pratyakshanumanāgamah pramanani viparyayo mithya jnanamatadrupa pratishtham shabda jnananupati vastu shunyo vikalpaha abhava pratyayalambana tamo vrittirnidra anubhuta vishaya sampramoshaha smritihi abhyasa vairagyabhyantannirodhaha tatra sthitau yatnobhyasaha satu dirghakala nairantarya satkaradara sevito dridhabhumihi drishtanusravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara sanya vairagyam tatparam purushakhyater gunavaitrishyam vitarka vicharananda smita rupanugamat samprajñātaha virama pratyayabhyasa purva samskara sheshonyaha bhava pratyayo videha prakritilayanam shraddha virya smriti samadhi prajñā purvaka itaresha